So today we're going to talk about digital item asset ownership and blockchain. If you have not watched the video from this channel, Blockchain Games Explained, I highly recommend you go watch that first. The idea here is to understand a potential problem in the gaming world, or just anything where digital assets are traded or there's value assigned to them. We're actually going to use a real life example with using Asmongold, who is a popular streamer for the game World of Warcraft. But essentially, the goal here today is to understand how blockchain could potentially make this a much better situation. Now, in traditional games, players do not own the in-game assets like gear, outfits, skins, mounts, etc. They only use them in their respective game. So if you're playing World of Warcraft and you have a sword, a shield, or a mount, you can only use those within the World of Warcraft universe. You can't take them into other games. And this often makes it difficult to either value them or just presents challenges with the idea of asset ownership in general. Now, we're going to take a look at blockchain games, on the other hand, which is trying to create a situation through innovation where players actually own their own game assets, like gear, outfits, skins, mounts, etc. And due to the decentralized nature of blockchain, which kind of just creates a shared database across multiple gaming worlds, players now actually have the ability to own their assets, and they have the ability to choose how whether they're going to be sold, whether they're going to be kept, whether they can be put on a market. They are in control. That's the entire idea here. So we're going to use some real life examples to demonstrate this, and we're also going to discuss Asmongold. Many of you are familiar with the game World of Warcraft. Been around for about 15 years or so. There is a popular streamer named Asmongold who's been playing the game for probably its entire lifespan, 15 years or more. He streams almost daily on his Twitch channel and probably knows more about the game than just about anyone. I've managed to capture a clip of him online live. It's a bit of a rant where he discusses the idea of digital assets, ownership, and the problem with gaming companies essentially just listing items for sale for people to buy, and then people spend money on those things despite not truly owning them, quote unquote. He thinks this basically incentivizes bad behavior, poor spending of money, and overall he thinks it's just bad for the game. Now, this clip is a bit edited just for to keep it kind of short. He is kind of ranting here. I think it's a great rant. But if you want to see the full clip in context, I will leave a link in the description below where you can kind of watch the whole thing. But I tried to capture just the essence of what he was saying, about digital asset ownership and why store mounts in World of Warcraft are a problem. I don't play World of Warcraft. I used to years ago. So I am not 100% sure that I understand what store mounts are, but I think I have a pretty good idea. Right here, you can see that Blizzard sells them on their website, and I believe he is just saying that, this is bad, and he makes some interesting arguments. Now, the reason I want to show this clip is that a lot of the time he spends, and in fact, in this clip, while he's ranting, he is farming an item that has an extremely low drop rate for what's called a transmog. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But the point is that he spends a lot of time, almost at the start of every single stream, trying to get this specific item. Now, if this item was something scarce that, say, only maybe the first, 5,000 people could own it, and then after that, you'd have to buy it or earn it in some other way, then Asmon could probably spend his time, trying to buy it or farming things that actually have quote-unquote value to trade for it. Maybe he offers the person VIP on his Twitch channel in exchange for the item. But the point is that instead of spending all of this kind of like dead time farming for a drop chance, maybe he actually gets the item through, trade in a market of some kind. The point is that blockchain games are kind of solving this problem. Now, it is extremely early, and I'm not saying here that this innovation is going to necessarily like completely turn gaming on its head, but the point is that if you have a decentralized database of assets, you actually could offer people true digital asset ownership. And irrespective of whether or not they're playing World of Warcraft, someone could own a sword and they own it. It's certifiably theirs in their wallet. They can trade it to whoever they want. They could sell it. They could hold on to it. It could have value of some kind. Now we're going to watch the clip here, and afterwards I'm going to show you some cool projects that are in the works that sort of represent this multiverse idea that's coming down the pipeline. If you want to think about Ready Player One or that kind of, gaming world, that's kind of where we're heading. But without further ado, let's just listen to Asmongold rant for a little bit.
I don't want to hear like a lot of negative stuff or anything like that. I just want to give people context and like kind of what I consider like important and valuable. And again, like I think I'm a pretty reasonable, normal guy. There are a few extreme opinions that I have that I think a lot of people disagree with, but I think people in time will come around and they'll understand that I've been right all along, okay? So we'll just see what happens. And you know what an example of that is? Fucking store mounts. The fucking store mount. See, I told you guys this was a problem fucking 5 years ago, 7 years ago. Nobody wanted to listen. But you know what? Here we are, and here it is. So, you know what, guys? Like, I'm fucking, like, just trust me with some things, okay? I am excited. Now, fuck microtransaction transmog. Everybody disagrees with that shit, okay? Everybody fucking disagrees with that. Like, the only people that agree with it, what's so funny to me is, like, I can understand people, like, I can get why you want to buy it because you think it's cool and you just don't care. And that's basically what it is. Like, you just don't care. And here's why they're going to keep doing it. So the reason why they're going to keep doing it, like, if, for example, every single time that somebody made a group and you saw somebody with this transmog or like a mount or whatever, you immediately kicked them out of the group for supporting like something that makes the game worse, well, then less people would buy them because they wouldn't get the satisfaction of being able to wear them because they get kicked out of the groups all the time. You see what I mean? So here's the facts. This will never go away because people are too much pussies to enforce an actual social consequence for promoting things in the game that are harmful. They're too much pussies for it. So I tried to do this way. So until the players actually hold each other accountable for, doing these bad business practices and supporting them and creating a reward structure for companies to exploit us, then no, nothing's gonna happen. And the thing is, people are not willing, they don't have the resolve to do that. They're weak-minded people that just want to have instant gratification and they want what they want and they want it now. That's it. So we're gonna keep getting more of these because everybody disagreed with me. Everybody thought I was an asshole, and that's your problem now. I'm farming transmogs and Mists of Pandaria, and you guys, the other people that are mad about it now, fuck them. That's what it comes down to. Okay, like that's it. You start playing the game on a sub? Yeah, but I'm not buying the fucking mounts, dude. I'm not buying the fucking mounts. Yeah, you're right, I still play the game, but that's not really the only barometer that you can use for people's happiness with it. Okay, that's what it comes down to. Consumer Andes. Yeah, consumer Andes. Like, I feel like this kind of stuff is going to keep happening because the players don't have the resolve to do anything about it. And so it's unfortunate, but that's what these companies prey on. That's what they rely on, is having weak-minded consumers that just buy whatever they get told to buy because the game tells them to do it. The company tells them to buy it. You have to buy this thing. That's all there is to it, man. And I don't know. I'm kind of upset about it. You do that every year? Well, I buy the game, right? That's about it. Maybe I'll buy, like, the thing is, I buy WoW shirts, but here's the difference between a WoW shirt and a fucking store mount, is that you don't buy the store mount. You buy a license to use the store mount on the account that you also license from Blizzard. You're not buying a fucking thing. You don't own a goddamn thing. That ain't no free real estate. That's like buying real estate on the moon. Like, nobody gives a fuck about it. You don't even own it. And so anyway, the way I see this, right, is like, I don't want, I'm not gonna, like, if you buy a shirt, you own the shirt, okay? You own the shirt. You don't even own the things you pay them. And like, I think we should stop calling them microtransactions, because $25 is not micro. That's macro. That is straight up fucking that's a lot of fucking money, man. That is a lot of fucking money. You're never gonna convince people with it? Well, the thing is, like, that's what I mean, is like, I'm never gonna convince them because it's like they don't want to do it. That's what it is. You don't claim your own Steam games as well? They're rentals? Yeah, I mean, I hate this. I hate the way that they do that, honestly. I think that's trash. But, you know, people just, they do it. They're okay with it because that's just what they're okay with.
All right, so the point of this showcase was basically just to demonstrate that some gamers and streamers out there understand the importance of asset ownership and also recognize when there might be some like dirty tactics to get people to spend money on things that maybe they shouldn't. And in this rant, basically, Asman is, just venting a little bit and wishing there was an alternative or a way to convince Blizzard to stop charging people $25 for a store mount. But some players will do it anyway, and maybe a lot of players do it, and so they will continue to offer mounts and things like this. But that's essentially the point of the rant, and this is why I think that blockchain gaming might potentially solve this issue. I also want to quickly add that my old World of Warcraft account, I don't know, maybe last played in 2010, has been deleted. I can't even access it. So I might have had, let's say, rare items or things that people really want, but I no longer have access to those items. So maybe now, if this was a decentralized version of that, maybe I can go back in time and say, hey, I have all this stuff. Who wants it? Are there collectors out there that want this old gear or one of these old rare mounts you can't find anymore? I no longer have that option. In the blockchain gaming world, you would have that option because the assets are yours and always will be unless you decide to transfer that ownership to somebody else. One interesting fact here that's kind of funny looking back on it is that Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum, on which the blockchain on which many of these games will operate and some of this technology operates, actually states on his About Me that he happily played World of Warcraft during 2007 to 2010, probably exactly when I was playing it. But one day, Blizzard removed the damage component from my beloved Warlock's Siphon Life spell. I cried myself to sleep. On that day, I realized what horrors centralized services can bring. I soon decided to quit. And then he went on to found Ethereum, which is basically the technology we're talking about that enables blockchain gaming. So many people in the blockchain gaming world are familiar with a project called Enjin. They created the cryptocurrency Enjin coin. This coin is basically powers the ecosystem around creating digital assets because the coin is required to create the asset, therefore giving it a digital backing and an actual value. We're just going to take a look at their website real quick, and I'm just going to show you. I'm going to walk through their explanation and kind of explain how it works. So basically, let's say we wanted to create a sword. Enjin coin itself is infused into the asset through a process called minting. So you can basically just decide that you want to create gaming assets like a sword, a shield, a mount, or whatever. It doesn't even have to be assigned to any specific game. You're just spending the cryptocurrency to actually create the item. This means that the item actually is at least as valuable as the currency inside of it, but the market could make that value go up and down. The process could therefore be reversed. So if you no longer wanted an item, or let's say you farmed 10 items that you don't want, you could actually reverse it back into the currency and then use that currency to buy a pizza or do whatever you want with it, which is just a very cool mechanic in terms of preserving value, but also changing it into a liquid form. Enjin coin at this current time of this video is worth 20 cents. This means if this sword was imbued with one Enjin coin to be worth at least 20 cents based on coin market value, but maybe it's worth $5 because there's actual gaming demand and people are willing to pay $5. Now, because these assets are on the blockchain, it's up to the individual owner to decide what they do with it. Okay, so if I want to sell it, I sell it. If I want to trade it, I trade it. If I want to keep it forever, I keep it forever. That's the power of blockchain. It's my decision. What's fun about this is that because these items are not necessarily part of any game, your collection, your gaming assets, are kind of like your real life inventory, right? They can be stored on your phone, and I can see all of the gaming assets that I have, but they're not assigned to any specific game. They could be used across certain games. So let's say I have this awesome one-of-one sword that maybe PewDiePie owned or even Asmongold owned at one time, and he decided to gift it to me for whatever reason because I'm a subscriber on his channel. Well, now I own this one-of-one special sword that, I don't know, another game decides, hey, if you're the owner of this sword, come on in and you'll have it in your inventory and it'll have a cool look and design and feel or whatever because you own that game specifically. So again, you're seeing the power of what's called the multiverse, where it's the assets themselves are player owned and traded, and the gaming worlds are just saying, hey, you have that sword, come on in and use it. Very cool idea. Just something that, we've never seen before, super early in its infancy, but I hope you're kind of getting the idea of how it works. And because it's yours, you can sell it at any time. And I just think that this is something that, although it's super super early, it's really fun to pay attention to and watch. And I highly recommend everyone check out Enjin and Enjin Coin. I think it's going to be something that potentially fuels what they can continue to call virtual worlds and multiverses and just connected realities. So we discussed the idea of questing in multiple games and things like that. So this is something that I think everyone should pay attention to. Now, as an interesting proof of concept, last summer, August 2020, Enjin put together what they called the Cyborgs Quest, which was basically a multiverse quest in which the player was asked to go into different blockchain games. So you could play up to 8 different games on the same quest, looking for items in each world, which you would then combine at the end of the quest into an item that would generate a final boss, which you would play in a game called Lost Relics. Now, again, all of these items were owned by the player. As you take them from game to game, each game recognized what you had in your inventory because the database is decentralized. And at the end of it, you basically beat a quest that traversed multiple games, which is really cool. Just a very cool idea, proof of concept. And the players who completed it were actually rewarded with a special avatar and something that you could only have gotten from completing that quest. And there are no longer any more available. You'd have to buy it on a market or trade it with another player. Now, Enjin obviously has already gone ahead and created a bunch of digital assets using Enjin Coin. And again, the idea is that these assets are not assigned to any game specifically. They just merely exist. And of course, a lot of them are slanted towards gaming, such as machine guns, shields, armor, swords, axes, mounts, and various things. Now, because they're not assigned to any specific game, you own them, and then later on you decide to basically just jump into a game, and they will be in your inventory. Some of them have very limited supply. Others tell you the circulating supply. But again, instead of going into like the World of Warcraft marketplace or auction house or whatever it's called these days, we're outside of a game and we're trading digital gaming assets across universes, across multiverses, which is super cool. So any player can list assets that they have on these marketplaces. Marketplaces have an API you can bring into your game, so you can buy things right in the game that basically come from anywhere. So outside the game or whoever has it, players inside the game. Just very cool. There is a game called Lost Relics, which is really leading the way on this. They are a Diablo-style dungeon crawler. If you have any of these Enjin assets, such as the Epichrome Sword, when you log into your inventory, or log into the game, it will be in your inventory, which is just super cool. So again, you have the sword, you log in, this game already recognizes that you have it because it's in your personal wallet, which is your real-life gaming wallet, and it's your gaming wallet across all games. And it's in your inventory, which is super cool. That applies to the armor. That applies to anything, crossbows, anything they want to implement is already in this game. So if you want to give a blockchain game a try, I highly suggest jumping into Lost Relics. It is a very early, I think it's still in beta or even alpha. However, it just gives you a taste of what's coming. So I highly recommend, if you guys are interested in the future of gaming, digital asset ownership, and you understand the rant that Asmongold went on, then this is maybe a sector you want to check out. It's highly speculative, so this is not investment advice or anything, but I'm just showing you these things so that you don't spend your entire life maybe farming for items and never getting a payout for it. And this totally changes that, creates a new paradigm where people can spend all this time farming or crawling dungeons and actually finding an asset, then owning it, then trading it, and maybe bringing it to a new game, which opens up very cool possibilities. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave a comment below.